Today, what we're going to be working on is to discuss social media and personal branding. And I think a lot of our friends who are in real estate, especially if you're agents or your lenders, or hey, a small potato like me, I'm an international student recruiter, or in fact, any small business owners, you feel that you have to struggle between whether you're doing your operations, but also you have to do marketing and branding. And really, if you think about all the traditional means of marketing in the past, like newspapers, or sending out flyers, a lot of those things just don't really work the way it does anymore. And right now in this era, it's all about digital branding or digital marketing, personal branding, and it doesn't take a lot of money to get this done. However, a lot of people might think, it's kind of scary, it's intimidating. That's definitely me for sure. You probably will not be able to find me on social media at all. I'm not on Instagram. I'm just a big ass troll on Facebook. You don't see my face anywhere. I like to pimp out Nelson. So, because he actually knows how to use Instagram and I don't. So for me, just kind of figuring out how should I get my branding out, and more importantly, why, and how can this help me? And knowing someone that's not artsy like me, I'm just a big mouth, can I do it? So without further ado, I'm bringing in my good friend Josh, who seems to have like 3 or 4 lives going on at once, and I don't know how he does it. So we're gonna find out today. Take it over, Josh.
Sweet. Thanks so much, Annie. And welcome, guys. Whether you're watching this live, thank you. You guys are amazing. Or on the replay, hello, replay, future people. Let me go ahead and share my screen and kind of just show you what we'll be covering today. So, of course, it's personal branding. And we'll just jump into whatever that means. Quick agenda. So, who the heck am I? Why am I talking? I'll give a little bit of that. Why does it matter? Annie asked for that too. Okay, I got you bought in. Great. How do I make it easier? Because it's hard. I do have a freebie if you stick to the somewhat middle of it. This is my hook to get you to stay to the end. I will give you guys 50 posts already made. And I did post and say that was only for the live group. So if you're in the future, then you have to DM me. But I'll only put it in this chat, which means it won't go into the recording. And we'll do some Q&A. Okay, so first off, ever since I was young, that is me. Yes, very adorable. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. And so when I think about personal branding, I just think about what do I want and how many people can I tell about it? Right. And so what does that actually mean? So Annie said that I have 3 different lives and I have about, she said 4 and I have more, I feel like, I don't know. Well, here are the hats that I wear. So I still have a day job. And that's marketing manager for a winery here in California. And then I also invest in real estate. We started roughly about 3 years ago. BRRRRs, Airbnbs, Co-GP'ed with Tony Lynn in multifamily. And then I'm working on an assisted living deal now. I also have a marketing agency. And so I help other people market themselves. And then I have my own personal brand too. So those are a couple different hats. And then of course, my family, that's my beautiful wife, Hannah, my 2 kids, Ezra and Isaiah. It's a year older, a little bit bigger than now, a little bit crazier too. So that's me. If you're good right now, I'll give you guys 5 seconds. If you want to scan this, that's my contact information. Yes, you can, that is my direct number. It's not a VA number. If you want that, have it. Just send me deals, please. Okay, so I want to talk about brand versus personal brand, just because I talk about personal branding a lot, but I take a lot of the concepts from just brands either that I work in today or that I have in the past. I got my first like real taste out of it. I started a CrossFit clothing brand back in grad school in Hawaii called Shakas and Snatches. And that was my first play into actual brand building. And so when Instagram first launched, we ended up getting the account to about 30-something thousand followers when Instagram first launched, which was like, we were like the cool CrossFit influencers at the time. Even to the point where I like to claim that we were Hawaii's fitness brand, and we did produce the largest CrossFit competition in the state of Hawaii. So this is a fun little video here. Sharing audio. I think it's cool. But I convinced the Four Seasons on Oahu in Ko'olina to let us build a CrossFit gym in their ballroom, and then also rent out the lagoon for a swim event. So yes, CrossFit and Four Seasons don't necessarily go together, but we produce the most baller, I don't say that because we're at the Four Seasons, CrossFit comp. And so product, community building, all of that goes into branding, and that still goes into your personal brand too. You just have to now package yourself. So as I think about personal branding too, pivoting, there's different ways to go about it. You can do it in your day job, and you should be doing it in your day job. If you think, oh, this is like this look at the same jacket, cool. The social media thing is only good for external, no. I encourage you to actually be louder in your day job as you have your day job. So for example, in my day job, my current job today, I actually was able to get a 30% raise after year one because I was so loud about my accomplishments. And I argued that the job that I was doing was not what I hired for. And so then I basically forced them to give me a raise because I was so loud about the results. So whether you are just doing it internally, I'll give you some tips in this presentation of how to do it better internally, so that way you can just make more money in day job. Obviously get more buy-in with stakeholders, whether it be your boss, C-suite, executives, etc. This was the latest win for me. So this is Wine Folly, Madeline Paquette. She just, a couple years ago, she won the James Beard Award. She did New York Times bestseller on a wine education book. And because of not only my personal brand, but kind of what I've been doing at my job at JLore, I was able to go ahead and book her as a feature on our podcast that we're launching. So this is not just for real estate investing. You can definitely apply some of these tips, and you should be in your day job. But of course, you joined SARE because you want to invest in real estate. So for me, I think that, at least here's what I think. And if Tony watches this in the future, then you can tell me differently. But for me, I think that being able to build a personal brand, start hosting meetups, meet more people, build a community was one reason why I think I was able to contribute and eventually co-GP on an apartment complex. And so I'll go into that story of how we went from buying BRRRRs in Columbus to then helping out on this apartment deal in a bit. But it can do a lot. In essence, what I want you to figure out now is, as you're in this part of the presentation, is what do you want to be known for? That's personal branding. That's it. So if you went and you texted, DM'd your 10 best friends, your family, people you talk to the most, and they said, hey, Annie, what is my superpower? Hopefully they all say somewhat of the same thing. Or if you want your superpower, what you want to be known for, be different, that's okay too. But then what do you have to do to make that superpower as known as possible? For me, I want to be marketing and real estate investing. That's it. Can I be the best marketer? And how do I leverage that to get better at real estate investing? Some people are really good at finances and running books and financial modeling. That's not me. I can't get into deals that way, but I think I can, or I have, with marketing. So think about that for you. Couple questions. I know we have a intimate group today, but I would honestly, the first next slides are still some mindset stuff. And to be honest, I'm not a big mindset guy. But the latter half is all tactical. So as you are able to contribute more, you can lead into the how to do all this better. I did have a fun little activity, but we're intimate here. So you let me know whether you want to drop it in the chat, or if you want to even just turn your camera on or open up your mic. Let me know if you were to get, or if you were to really commit to personal branding, what do you want to get out of it? How about to make it easier, if you can, you have the ability right now, put it in the chat. So what are two things? Would you want to raise? Would you want to meet bigger players in the real estate space? Would you want to be instantly voluntold by Annie? What, if you were to brand yourself, what's the goal? Is it to go GP? Let me see, can I pull up the chat? And if you guys are all busy driving or doing somewhere, Annie, I'm going to pull on you since your camera's on. Add a personal branding.
I am thinking of mine. So for Sarah would be, how can I attract more highly educated investors or experienced investors to freely share their information with Sarah? Two would be how, as I GrowSareCon in future years? How do I get bigger and bigger names to say yes to me? And third is, how can I grow SARE organically to get more members without being all sales pitchy? How do I double our numbers?
I like that. I like that a lot. That is very similar to mine. One of my goals for personal branding is um, opportunities change if you have 100,000 followers. And I know it's so like, I hate that. I really do. Like, I honestly do. But now being let's say the micro influencer right now, if almost 10 on Instagram, a little over 10 on YouTube, 16 on TikTok, and some videos have gotten pretty big and, 1 million views, but I've gotten turned down for opportunities because they didn't have 100,000 followers on a certain platform. And as you want to entice some of these bigger players, you're either paying a lot of money or you need to build an audience big enough of your own to where you can play in that space. And it sucks. Like it really, really sucks. So that's for me, yes, marketing real estate, but also like on a tactical goal, what do I need to get 100K? Just for the pure vanity of it. And not buying followers, not doing all that stuff, but like real people. So we have here in the chat, Joseph saying, meet motivated, like-minded investors, totally, agents, and get access to deals. Totally. I mean, the more people you can reach, the more people you can do deals with, more people DM you stuff. Ricky says more deals, networking, maybe raising private money. Oh, dude, the raising private money, like I created a form on my website. If you ever want to partner together and just have like a random, how much money would you be able to invest if we just JV'd on something? And like as you start to get traction, it's crazy if many people will just say, yeah, I have 50 to 100K and I want to do this. Benji says bigger outreach, quality audience, grow your followers organically. Cool. Okay, one last question to help me shape this is I want to know what are the roadblocks? What are the problems that you are currently facing today when it comes to personal branding? So yes, you want results. What's the roadblock? Drop it in the chat. Annie, what's yours?
My roadblock is like one is I always feel like I'm out of time.
Okay.
And two, it's scary. It's intimidating. I'm scared to show myself online.
Totally. Time factor is tough. And second guessing what people will think about your posts is even tougher. Totally. I'll give it another minute. Initially for me, my biggest roadblock was, will I still have a day job? How public can I be? And that was a huge roadblock for me. And I will be very honest, I actually did get called out at work for it. And it was written up and everything. And when I do things, I just have to make sure that it's now out of work hours and that it's all documented accordingly. But as you get more and more known, it will be inevitable of, okay, what are you really trying to do with this? And as long as you're able to make sure that you have systems in place that either posts are automated or it's clearly outlined that it's outside of whatever your normal work hours are, and of course your project deliverables are being met, that is just an honest conversation you will have to have with your boss. Like, I'm doing this, and this is my 5 to 10 year path, because real estate is kind of long. And in the meantime, is everything still being met? Ricky saying time, thought of being consistent. There's different ways around consistency. So I think initially consistency was a lot more, but now the algorithm has definitely changed to where it's just better. And I'll tag into that a little bit. Okay, so if you want to do all that, here's your homework. Here you go. Screenshot this. Make a website, blog, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, podcast, Medium, Quora, respond on SARE, right? Do all of these things and you will build a brand. It's a lot. It is a lot. And most people end up looking at it and are just saying, okay, that's too much. I can't. And I agree. Yes, this is what ChatGPT told me you should do. Honestly, I just want you to simplify and just pick one. I don't care what it is, but just pick one. So if you hate being on video, just do audio. Like you could legit just do audio, record yourself speaking, make it a podcast. If you, again, don't like video, then you can just write about it. And so you can blog posts, send out newsletters, send out tweets. I actually transparently do video because I'm really bad at spelling. And if I do video, I don't have to spell. And then I can have ChatGPT hopefully write that. What platforms are best? I'll touch on that in a second too. Okay, so look at that. On cue, what platform should you focus on? Okay, honestly, they all work, to be honest. So here's some snapshots of either clients that I manage or my own page. But yes, organic posting does work, right? And in a variety of different ways. My favorite thing, this is completely organic, by the way. This is no ad spend at all. But certain posts, if you craft them correctly, your goal for some posts are to reach your followers. A lot of the time, you want new people in the pipeline, especially if you're trying to grow. So you should be wanting to see a lot more non-followers than followers. And that's okay. This one actually is a paid account. So you can force your way into eyeballs by paying. That works too. And for all those who are saying, man, well, how long does it take? Honestly, this was another account that I was managing for a CPA who went from not posting rarely at all, and it was just his family photos, to then being able to reach 400, and actually I think his latest post is in the 15,000 range now. So whatever post is most native to you, it works. And you can still also use a scheduler too. The hard part as you add platforms is that, again, going back to the community piece, you have to spend time at least responding to the comments. So if you don't do that, you lose the relationship. If you're trying to reach all these non-followers and then they're giving you engagement and they're saying, oh, that was a great share, thanks so much, and you're not saying, glad I can help, then you're not building that community and they're going to feel like they lost you. Okay, some recent highlights for me. Last month, actually, I did hit 1 million views on YouTube, so that was super fun. What else? 2 million views on TikTok, gotten a few sponsorships. Yes, the ad revenue was fun. Amazon affiliates. I actually make more in Amazon affiliates than I do on YouTube ad revenue. So especially for my Airbnb folks, you should 100% be making review videos of here's the best mattress to put in your Airbnb. Here's the best smart TV. Those things that are $4, $5, $1,000, you can get 1 to 3% of revenue. And if you just get 1 purchase, 2 purchase, 3 purchases a day, that could add up. But ultimately for me, why I did this is just more deal flow and partnerships. So whoever you want to reach or whatever platform's easiest for you to act on, just start there. That's it. If you could be the best LinkedIn person ever, just be the best LinkedIn person. You don't have to be everywhere. I like YouTube because if I can get someone to sit down for a 40-minute podcast with me or a 20-minute video, like they're sucked in. It takes a lot of effort, but of a 40-minute clip versus a 20-minute, 40-minute video, it is much easier to convert someone for something after they've watched you for a couple hours. And that's a lot of TikToks if you're just doing that. Okay. So that's all cool. Everyone wants 100K followers, 1 million views, but really you just need one thing. Like, why do you want to build a brand? Is it a raise? Is it a new job? Is it a new partnership? For me, I started posting more and started the podcast because I wanted to connect with investors who were one step ahead of me, and that was it. So if you've ever had trouble DMing someone and saying, can I pick your brains, and them never responding, it's because now you're just asking them for time that they don't really have. But for me, I said, well, let me start a podcast. And then at that point, can you be a guest on my podcast, AKA a speaker? And it was way easier to get those one-on-one calls, and I can ask whatever. It'd be the same questions that you ask. And then I wanted that guy who was one step ahead or that girl who was one step ahead. So that way, could they either introduce me to someone else or could we partner, etc. And that's what happened. So quick summary, Started posting a lot more on social media, started interacting and building relationships on Instagram. That's where I started first, posting on the clips for all the podcasts there. Um, I hosted my first real estate meetup right as COVID was kind of breaking out. We hosted it with a few other real estate influencers. If you guys know Austin Largusa, I co-hosted with him as well as Soli, Lattes and Leases at the very beginning. And so we had, actually, I think it was 70 people show up to our first Big Al's meetup. I met Ash. We did a couple deals together. I think it's like 6 deals now. Or I guess it's 5. I need to update this. And then we eventually met Jason and Vinci on Instagram. And we ended up all partnering together, but never having been in the same location until after we closed on the Co-GP deal with Tony. And so I met Ash, Ash introduced us to Tony, and then we were able to do the deal with Tony years later. But it was all because I started posting more that I was able to meet these and try and find a piece of the puzzle where we can add value to Tony. And that's how we co-GP'd on this. So I want to know, like, what is the one thing, if you were to get one thing from this, I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be like, cool, we're going to co-GP on this 100-unit apartment with Tony. I thought that was so far to reach. But some things just open up. Hey, Ish, saying that you echo this. So before and after you were attending comments of the podcast, yes, and with the podcast is huge. And it's interesting, as you get to speak more, people end up putting that. It's like writing a book, maybe not to the same level, but and host so-and-so podcast ends up being an introduction note to you. So I started a podcast. All right. So why? Yes, you can help other people, of course, sure. Selfishly now, find partners and clients, network, increase my influence, and then obviously increase my earning potential, whether it be through more deals, finding clients, etc. And yes, it doesn't always have to be this crazy edited. That's just fun and distracting, adds engagement to the slides. But if anyone saw my post that I posted today, actually, the less edited ads perform better than the highly edited ads. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, now you have to put my name on Instagram and you'll see the actual lead results that I got from an ad from a lender that I was running ads for. Okay. Tactical time. I think we're there. Cool. These ones I'm going to breeze through. You guys already know this. But honestly, if you don't know what content to make, just either call your business BFF and just say, hey, ask me any questions you have, and then find another camera and just press record. And then just talk to your best friend. Because you will be so more animated talking to them about the things that you're working on the roadblocks than if you were just to say, cool, I'm going to set up my selfie tripod now, and I'm going to go ahead and here are the 3-way, like it's going to be sucky, super hard. But just, I literally have a camera right now on the side, and I'm way more animated talking to you all, and that will make the clip versus if I were to record myself. Yes, ChatGPT works, and I'll share some of my favorite prompts and ways to use it in a second. And then other things is really start to share what you've learned and what the recent wins are. And whatever, again, written, audio, video, all of it, whatever's easiest. Just a quick lesson learned, just start sharing it more often. If you went and you had a business meeting, what was the takeaway? Just share that. Most people won't. And that will differentiate you. Okay, other 25 content ideas. If you'd like, here's your one chance to screenshot this. But you just fill in the blanks. Those are easy. And yes, this is what I look like when I film from home sometimes. I just have a camera on my desk. Okay. If you don't like video, yes, you should be definitely doing blog posts, audio podcasts, carousel posts are awesome. And they're actually trending really well now. Another thing that's also trending is on-screen text posts. So if it's just you doing something or making coffee and then just put, here's how I bought my first rental, and then put the 4 steps fast, those are actually trending and performing better than talking head videos right now. Quote posts are fun. So if you have any takeaways, share metrics again, like literally just screenshot your Airbnb payout and post it. It's cringe, it's braggy, I get it. But then also post the bad months too, or post the calendar. Just post something and then explain it. Because again, going back to that one concept, sure, it may not get 100,000 views. But what if your uncle or aunt who is watching you on social now saying, huh, what's Ricky doing with investing? And he's actually making money now. Cool. Maybe I should do a deal with him. And the next family barbecue, they end up investing in your deal. That's happened to me. Okay. And what do I can't see I have the thing there, but I said what there? What's in red? I need to move my camera. Oh well. Okay. So here's more tactical. I am going to stop the slides. That's pretty much the end. I'm going to show you some of my favorite ways that I make more content, both internally and externally. And if you have more questions you want me to cover, but I'm going to go ahead and cover, here's how I, on a quick side, write better emails for my day job. So let me stop screen sharing. And let's go into here. So this first one, I do this all the time. If at work, someone sends you an external PDF and says, this is a great find. Cool. That sucks. Because now you just have 100 pages to read that I don't have time to read, right? Instead, you should always be the one who forwards the PDF that says, hey, this is a really great presentation I just watched. Here are the 3 major takeaways, and here are the 3 ways that our business, our brand, you can apply it. And what if you just said that every single time? Here are my 3 takeaways, and here are the 3 ways the business can do it. And here's the PDF. How much more equity will you get with your internal work team or whoever you're sending it to if you did that? And so here's how I do that. Bang, bang, bang. I'm gonna think. I can't see the windows too small, but we'll see. Is this the one? Let's find out. Okay, you guys see thumbs up, get 50 done for you real estate posts? Cool. I don't want to show you that one yet. All right. So here's what you do. You put the PDF into ChatGPT in GPT-4, 4.0 now. And I work at JLore. What are the top 5 takeaways our brand should know? And what's the top 5 actionable items? And then I asked it to put it into an email. And so here are the top takeaways. Here are the top actionable items. And then you edit it. Like, don't just be the guy who then takes this and just sends it, but make it a little bit more you. But now I didn't have to read 100 pages. And then this exact email got sent up to the C-suite, and now I'm supposed to present on this, which means I guess I should read it now. But there are some things that you just want to be a little louder about, and this is one way to be louder. I'm going to share an entire screen. Now we don't have to stop going through. So let me go through this one. Bear with me. We are on desktop.
And also, while you're on this with the ChatGPT things, is the one they're using the ChatGPT for, is it really that much better than, say, like using Bard or Copilot or something that's actually free? Is the reason is that one?
I tested Bard like a year ago, and it was so much worse at the time that I haven't gone back. I now have other programs that I use that embed ChatGPT or have one of them embedded in them. And so I still like ChatGPT the best. And then also some of the other programs that I use. But no, I don't do Bard, but ChatGPT is 100% worth 20 bucks. It's worth the $20.
It looked like you could do attachments at first, was it? But you can put like contracts or whatever and ask questions about it potentially.
Yes. Yes.
Mm. Okay, so that's the main difference, because the other ones won't be able to let you upload documents, those free ones.
Yes, documents. It also is getting better at looking up web pages as well. So sometimes I'll just drop in a website and just say, I'm building an ad campaign for this business. Now, what are the top major consumer problems that they face? And then rewrite the ad campaign to this. And then I'm brainstorming with ChatGPT on formulating this ad campaign. But I don't have to upload any documents, I can just pop in
Drag
the
them.
room.
Oh, okay. Huge difference. Huge game
Yeah.
changer.
Yeah, super good. Okay, so I think I'm on desktop one. So I think you see, if I press share, you guys see everything. You guys see a big zoom thing right now?
Yep, Zoom.
Okay, sweet. Let me move this guy over to desktop one. Which what you guys still see Zoom?
Is that your Notion?
I guess
Uh-oh.
see Notion board now. Annie, what do you see? Gen Z's drinking
And he's
habits
drinking.
still?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna add one more thing into here. Can I bring this? Okay, my next one is okay, Loom videos. All right. For those who have VAs, you guys probably use Loom or some type of screen recorder to train them. Yes? Okay. I do that for everything. Like I use Loom videos to the max. And for example, this is one where I'm going over website performance with another person. And then I want to send them a video because either we missed the meeting or didn't have the meeting or want to avoid a meeting. And so here's a video recording. And then I regularly will say, hey, copy the transcript. I just press copy. And then I put that, I take the following video transcript and turn it into a short 350 word email. And so then now it'll draft an email. And then sometimes I want it to be a little bit more clear or succinct. So give me top 3 key highlights first, and then go in. But I do this for everything. If I'm giving a recap to someone, if I'm doing something, I will, because I hate to type, and actually going back to, do you like ChatGPT? I like ChatGPT 4.0 because the text or the voice recognition is better now, or they implemented voice recognition to now where I can speak to ChatGPT and it'll just draft emails for me. So now, like I'm slow to type. Like I am. I'm just like, I want to draft an email to so and so. Here are the highlights. And so whether it's a video, and I'm also gonna send them. And by the way, I embed the video into this as well. So I'm gonna say, here's the video version, and here's the short 300 word email. And if you're in sales, how many like video messaging is probably the top priority for a lot of enterprise sales teams right now. And so if you're in sales, you should be sending them video, whether it be this, whether it be a selfie video text message, like send video more times than not. Even if you've never met the person before. I've cold video influencers before. And it's like, hey man, love that last post. And I actually like have that post on the screen next to me. By the way, da 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 da. And I'll actually get responses versus the guy or gal who goes in the DM and says, hey, great stuff. Can I ask you a question? Like, it doesn't work. I send videos more. And then the last thing that I wanted to share is we're going tactics. Like, how do you make this easier? So you see my entire desktop right now. I am in love with a video program called Descript. So if you're talking about talking head videos, this is my favorite one. This is, again, you can see my entire desktop. Let's just take one that's edited already. Why not? Let's go Stella. Although will it load fast? How fast is the internet? Okay. So one, if you hate video editing, this will edit video like a Word doc. So for example, let's go to like a meat of it because this is a highly edited intro, but it's gonna make me download it. Okay, hold on. Sorry, we can't use Scylla as an example. So sad. I think I'm currently working through a podcast with Elsa about multifamily assisted living. So I think this is already still on my computer now. But for example, if I just wanted to cut this, normally you'd have to go into a timeline of some sort and like blade cut, kind of annoying. Well, now, especially for talking head videos, I can just highlight it and press delete and it's gone from the video instantly. Oh, wait, I didn't want to bring that back. Cool, let me paste it. Oh, actually, I want to cut this with that, what is that, Command X, and let's put it over here instead. And it moves the video. Okay, let me undo that so I don't forget what I just changed. This is the active project. Okay, so that's fun. This does have chat, or this has to have AI built into it. I guess I should really see what it's pulling from. But I can ask AI. I can ask AI to, initially, it'll already remove filler words. The ums, the uhs, all of that, it'll delete. It can delete word gaps. I can ask it to draft me 3 thumbnail ideas. And it'll take the video transcript, read it, and then it'll go ahead and it'll draft a few different ideas for thumbnails. So you take this transcript, and now ChatGPT 4 also has a very, very long character limit. Most our podcast, this will actually draft you show notes too, like draft me show notes, and it'll do that. Sure, cool. So now that's done. I also have systematized this. So this is my Notion board. This is a podcast that I'll be filming with a business broker tomorrow. And I have it systematized to where my team can come in and hear the deliverables that I want. Title, right? 5-minute clip, a whole bunch of different reels, blog posts, etc. And I have this all here. So they put in the YouTube titles. I also have instructions. So there's SOPs already embedded into this. I have blog post instructions. So take the transcript. Here's the actual prompt that they copy. So copy the prompt, copy the transcript of that video, and then create a blog post, and they'll draft the blog post underneath here. And then I have a video of how to now post that onto my website. Talking about like time, this is all admin stuff. I just want it drafted for me so that I can go in and hopefully it's 90% done, and I just have to do the 10%. Same with an email. Draft an email about the video. 5-minute clip, all of that, timestamps, etc. Like this one's fun too. This one will ask AI to do timestamps. You can do, you can ask it to do all of this right from this. They've actually improved this, which is nice. But yes, there are ways to make it faster. Just take your video transcript, and if it's a short clip, say this clip here, it'll let me load. This clip is 2 minutes, right? So now it's not a full podcast, but now I have whatever we're talking about, entitlement for newbies in 30 seconds. It was, I guess, in 2 minutes. But can't you turn that into a carousel, into a blog post, into something? And you can even ask ChatGPT to use the tonality of your voice as the actual writing language. So how intricate you want to make your prompts will then help you so that the deliverable that you get back from ChatGPT ends up being what you want.
So is the ChatGPT like before is embedded into this, or like you had to connect it?
It's embedded. This is a paid software, by the way. I pay a couple $100 a year to use this video editing software.
And is this better for like longer videos, or do you use the same thing for like the videos too?
I use it for talking head videos, but I also like it because this is the only cloud-based video editing program that I've found. Meaning I have 10 VAs in the Philippines, and they can all edit this one file.
So it can be shared between multiple?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You even have templates. So I have templates for either clients that I have, different captions, they want certain colors, certain title templates, and then I can just drag in that template, and it should edit it for you.
I have a quick question about the VAs that help you edit this. So you have 10 people that are working on a single clip, or how do you distribute the work? Do you
No.
pick the content, or yeah, I'm just wondering how to do it, how you do it.
Yeah, I have about 8 different clients that we're also producing content for. So I divvy them up, and then depending on the project, I have I don't know, like a 500 terabyte NAS system at my house. And so for my own podcast, they're all there. And whoever I've interviewed, and then obviously every single client will then also have its own folder, and it's there. Or the best part, searchable. So if you said, what episode have I ever mentioned apartment in? It'll pull up every single thing where apartment's mentioned. Obviously, the more specific you get, the better it is. But like, if you're like, I said in this one clip, I said, oh, the pool cover is da 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 da. I don't know, make them up. maybe you search pool cover and then you can find that pool cover clip fast. Obviously, I've never said pool cover, so there you go.
And then if your files are so gigantic, like almost 20, 30, 40 gigs, is it hard for your VAs from overseas to even download it, like storage space or internet speed?
So they have to have, it'll temporarily download the file locally, and then it'll eventually go off of their hard drive. But I store all the native files back in my house in a storage array that's like 500 terabytes. And so everything is stored there, and then they can access all that through the cloud. So they're only downloading at most, hopefully 60 gigs at a time, which is a lot, to be honest. It is a lot. And that's why my VAs that I hire for video editing are already good video editors. I'm not trying to train someone who's never edited videos before to then edit videos. I'd rather pay the extra $1.50 to find someone who can edit videos.
And can you use this for like all the fancy moves that you did on those videos? With
No.
with just this? No.
Yeah, no. So for example, let's just take, let's see again, I'm scared to open up things that aren't loaded, because then, like I said, it saves it temporarily on my local computer and then it'll put it back. And what's nice is that, like, say I want this to be its own short form clip, you can just highlight it and just press right click, copy to new composition, paste to duplicate to new composition. And what it'll do is it'll make this intro, whatever you selected, that's its own video file now. And then here, not sponsored, right? It's just like saves me so much time. From here, you can actually publish this, or you can export it to a different video editing program. So there are ways that you can go ahead and export this directly to Final Cut Pro, to Adobe Premiere Pro, whatever they end up using. And that timeline and everything will be native, and then they can upload it back to Descript. Yeah, that's pretty fun. And this, on a video editing standpoint, saves me so much time. And then a lot of times too, if you have if you're asking your VA to edit clips for you, and like this is an hour podcast, right? And so a couple things, you could ask AI to find good clips. So it will highlight good clips for you. I found that it's not great. Instead, what I find better is I ask my VA to then give me a dozen highlights of what they think is good. And before they ever edit it, I just want them to make this composition. And then I'll go back in and then just cut the ones that I'm like, I'm not going to post it anyways. And that way they're only focusing on these 5 to edit. So that way I get the 5 that I want, and they did the first pass. And then I just have to go in there again. It just, can I get it to 80%, whether through AI or through a team, and then bring it to the last 10, 20%. On the same portion here, like for example, this is a fun podcast about Wagyu steak, right? Completely not real estate. But he ended up quitting his meta job through Wagyu e-com store. So pretty fun. Anyways, copy the transcript. And I like ChatGPT, and I've just started to play with this because ChatGPT, ChatGPT does have a desktop application now. And so if you're not using now also hotkeys for text replacements, so this is, let's see, what is it? I think it's IG Cap 4, which means that I have a prompt already saved in my computer. And so it just copies the prompts all the time. The first one, it says, I want 4 variations of an Instagram caption based on video transcription below. Label them 1, 2, 3, 4. This first version is short, no more than 20 words. Second version is longer. Third version should include an engaging question. And the fourth version, I want you to expand the essence of the video, add additional information, context, etc. Tone, that, a great level, ultimately like you're talking to a friend. And I paste the video transcript. Now I ask it to make it captions. And so my VA will then do this and will copy these captions into my scheduler, and then I just select which one that I want to know, or like which one I want to use. But I guess quick rules of thumb, never ask ChatGPT to do one thing, always ask it to give you 5 outputs. Multiple outputs. In this case, I did 4. But I always ask it to do multiple ones and in different variations. So that way I can just pick from this one. Sometimes I just want the one-liner. Other times I want a story tell. And then that way it's faster for me to do that. Do the same thing for emails, for blog posts, all the same. Okay, this is the part of the presentation where I'm supposed to give you a freebie, I think. Yes, I promised that. So, if I'm going to trade you, we have to be real friends now. So I'm going to drop this link, investedcreators.com/Sayer-branding. Guess you don't need to be here live because I just said it live. But I will trade you 50 done for you text on screen posts. Sources are there, everything's there. I took blog posts from AirDNA of the top 10 markets to buy an Airbnb in 2024, and I made that a post. Bigger Pockets, top 10 markets to buy in, that's a post. These are all done. Just make a copy of the Canva template and then paste in a video of you drinking your coffee in the morning. And what do you know? You have your post. I think that's all I got today. Here, let me go back to a final screen. I'm sharing way too many windows.
I have a question as well.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of past content, how can you sort of like maybe capitalize on that and kind of what can I do with my past content? Let's just say I have a lot of videos, like we've recorded a lot of videos of like, you know, one-on-ones or maybe like virtual coffees that have never really, they've only maybe just been passed on once. So is there a way to sort of revitalize them into future content?
Oh, totally. Totally. I like every sales call that you're on, everything that you ever posted. Like if you haven't already put on Descript, I guess at bare minimum, I would just upload those clips onto Descript and ask the AI to find you 5 good clips. If you've ever been invited to anything, just record it.
Actually, following up on Anita's questions, it's similar to mine, is that we have a whole bunch of clips, but like, and they're really long, but then how do you remember what you've done in the past to like, oh, that 5 seconds is good, and oh, that 20 seconds are good, like how to be able to reuse these in the future?
Yeah, so going back to Notion, say like tomorrow, I'll be interviewing this guy who's a business broker. And during the podcast, at the very bottom, I'll usually put in a note. And as he says a keyword, like he says, don't buy a business XYZ, right? And I'll usually just put don't buy a business because he's talking fast, right? Or he says some key phrase. And now I know to just search don't buy a business on Descript, at least for me. Right? And if it says you can buy that, you should buy that for X for whatever, right? For 450K. Cool. I want that to be a clip. So what is the one unique phrase? Obviously not the follow or subscribe, because that's going to be in everywhere. But like, is there a unique phrase? Is there something that he says? Notate that. And then that's when I go back in and I actually will make a clip. And I can literally, going back to this, like I could probably say he's talking about quitting Meta. I just Control F Meta and I'll highlight everything every time he says Meta in there. And now I know, okay, I am looking for Meta in this. But if you know there's like sometimes you record in a whole hour and you're like, I really just want that one clip because I just said this thing. That's what I would do.
That's just my mind is kind of blown right now seeing this. Because I think that was probably the biggest issue that people have. It's like, how do you find that one phrase that you had talked about? Like, am I supposed to scroll through the whole thing trying to find it? So this is a huge game changer.
Yeah, here, let's just test this. Already the prompt is find 5 options for clips I can pull. Each clip should be 30 seconds long. Sure. Let's just see how good it pulls.
Prompts that you had, like, did it come with this or you created this and then
No, these are embedded.
These are embedded. Oh my gosh.
We couldn't find any clips for you. Great, wonderful. Well, actually, that's the first time it's ever happened before. I don't know why, but yeah, I mean, for editing, I love this. And then take that transcript, pay ChatGPT for, and then get more blog posts, get your email out, get your video description, make it a teaser, and just systematize it. So then your VA can literally just copy paste. Just what's the prompt? What's the output? What's the prompt? What's the output? What's the prompt? What's the output? And then you go in and then you just proof, review, publish. That's how you make it easy. And then, Anita, you're talking about how I manage content. Like, for example, these are all my current projects on my deck. Clips or videos or events that I'm currently editing. Things that I'm currently reviewing. Things that my VA is adding to a blog, and the things that have been completed. But I usually have it on a board so I know where we're at for every single project. And for example, say this, I mean, like I said, I'm recording. I got my camera right there and I'm recording it, right? So this will end up in a project queue of the SARE personal branding chat. And it'll end up as a card and it'll go through. And I hopefully got at least 3 good nuggets here that I can make something out of.
Then Anita has a really good question in there. She asks, what is the way that you get the most out of your content? So say you record your podcast an hour a week. How do you spread that to get the most of your time? So potentially creating multiple clips and other videos related to that one piece of content that you created.
How do I get the most out of it? I mean, how do I get the most from it is just exactly what I shared. It's then having prompts so that you can add it to a blog post, put it into a newsletter. And then wait, what do you, I need one more time.
I'm also thinking about like you have it into different platforms and different things though, but don't you have to make tweaks so that like for example maybe one way you do IG would be more popular because you can't, I feel like sometimes you might not be able to reuse the exact same short video clip for every platform. Like it doesn't go across the board. You have to like people might have different attention spans or something that you have to keep making tweaks to make it work for certain platforms.
I honestly, for most people, just post the same thing across everything.
Even at the same
You go
time,
on,
I feel like,
yeah,
oh,
same time. Like, as you hone in on a platform, if you want to own a platform, like obviously if you're doing YouTube long form, you can't just make a short video, right? Like there's actually a methodology for the YouTube long form video, but if you're talking about the short talking head videos, 30 seconds long, like just post it across all of them at the same time. Better yet, use a scheduler. I use a scheduler called Metricool and allows me to post at the same time, and I can modify the captions per platform based off of their specific requirements. And I mean, I guess the caveat to that is some people will say, well, aren't you going to bug people? Well, hopefully if you built a relationship, they won't unfollow you because they saw you on Facebook and on TikTok. And if they do, then I guess you guys are never friends to begin with. How do I store good clips to reuse in the future? All right, let me show you. Okay. So as I think about scheduling clips out, I have clips scheduled out. And then clearly I need to add more to get scheduled. But this is another project tracker. So this is not just the big editing project, but this is after clips have been edited. Like for example, I see Rich on, and Rich, I think there's like 10 micro clips that I made. And some of them, I'm just not ready to post yet. And so I'll just have something that says save later to post. And then I also have a date of when I made that clip. So obviously now at this point, some of these are kind of old. But that way I can at least scroll through it real fast. What are the must-have apps, tools? Notion, Descript, ChatGPT, Canva, Loom. Loom is really, especially if you're working with VAs, be able to transcribe those videos, like that's huge. And then if you want fancy editing, don't try and learn it yourself. Just hire someone. And to be honest, you don't need fancy editing. I'm actually now honing back on the level of edits, and I'm actually trying to be a little bit more raw again. I used to be a lot more raw before, then I got fancier because it was fun. But now, like you'll see the video that I posted today, it's literally just me talking to the camera and then pointing at the screen and then talking back at the camera and pointing back at the screen. It takes a little bit of time to get used to do that fast and make it succinct, but do I ever feel burnt out? 100%. But that's also why I started a podcast, because it is way you want to talk to other investors anyways for the most part. Like I'm gonna pull. Oh, sorry, Rich. Like you're here, man. So I'm gonna call on you. Like I just showed up randomly at his project, and Tom was like, "Hey, can we record?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll record." And he's like, "All right, whatever." And we would have had the same exact conversation, except now it's just recorded. So, like, it doesn't have to. And to be honest, Rich, that wasn't like my best video setup that we could have done for you. I'm sorry, but I literally just had a selfie stick and my phone. It did have some mics, which helps. But look, I guess webcam says it's cool. Do I spend a lot? Yes, at this point now, but also again, keep in mind, I have a marketing agency now and we make some money, a decent amount of money every single month coming in. So yeah, I mean, I think between all software costs just to run the agency, not including VA fees, obviously, but just software, probably between $300-400 a month in software. But again, I'm getting the bigger subscriptions, bigger storages for stuff, etc., just because video storage is expensive. You could probably do it all for $100 a month, which is still a lot. I get it, especially for something that you're just on the side, just want to play with. Better yet, you don't even have to pay for it. You could just use your phone. And most people just won't use their phone. Like my challenge for you then would be just use your phone to post videos and post 50 and then decide what you want to buy. But most people won't do that. The hacks are fun to talk about, but honestly, just 50 videos. Like as you analyze deals, some of the best videos I ever posted was just me videotaping me on a spreadsheet saying, cool, I just analyzed this duplex. I think it would make $400 a month. Here's my numbers. Do you think I'm right or wrong? And that always gets the best engagement. Zero editing, just literally me recording, talking and pointing on the screen. Make 50 of those. I bet you it'll work. The first 20 might not.
See your whole screen if you're just using your phone?
Yeah.
Like, oh, really? Oh, wow. Wow. Mm.
Yeah.
All right, your hand up. What's your question, Anita?
So it's really hard for me to type with one hand right now. I have a baby sleeping in one. My question is, so I feel like I need to elevate my content. I feel like a lot of times, well, I need to learn the programs that are there. So I'm like kind of thinking about what's my most effective step in order to create like kind of polished or good enough content out there. So I guess I'm wondering, like, what are your top two tips? And I'm like, maybe it's like, maybe getting a nicer camera or investing into better cameras or really like, or maybe spending more time with ChatGPT. Like, where would you kind of hit it first?
Well, you're different because you host a podcast.
Yeah, which is hard because I know exactly how hard it is to do it. But I have been on the end where I basically only spend an hour, maybe every 2 weeks, creating the Stair Ladies podcast, which is, so it's really great. But sometimes, I need to get like more mileage out of my content, or like, like opportunities for to pay off, like, like for YouTube ads, which I need to add. I'm adding to my list right now to upload it to YouTube so I can start monetizing that. So anyway, yeah.
For you, specifically with the podcast, and this may not pertain to anyone else on the call, but it'd probably be a camera.
Mhm.
You're probably at a camera stage just because you're doing the podcast. You want higher video clips, and then being able to record super high resolution on like an actual real camera like this, and then being able to then actually have a resolution to cut down and make vertical videos.
Yeah.
With it.
So I think the reason, so all of my podcasts are on StreamYard, which is what we use for the Sarah Ladies podcast. And we kind of do that, or like we use also sometimes Gmeet, mostly because people are coming to us nationally and they don't have that equipment. So I think for ease of use, that's why we use these. And then we upload kind of crappy-ish. To me, it kind of feels kind of crappy now compared to a lot of content that is out there. So I mean, like for ease, would you choose ease, or like, I guess like if you're choosing a camera, can I just like record myself recording the podcast and then I guess make that into reels?
100%. I also do that.
Okay.
So sometimes if I'm on a Zoom call, I'll just ask someone and be like, hey, I'm actually just gonna put my phone right here. And if I was at my home office, I'd show you, but I actually have a phone mount underneath my camera mount. And sometimes I just want a different look or different angle. So yes, you can 100% do that.
Funny though, like when you're in the clip, because like you're gonna be in the podcast and you're just getting a filming kind of like sideways, and it's like you're not even looking at the screen. Would it be weird?
You'd be surprised. Most people's podcast clips of them just talking isn't a real podcast. They just hate looking at the camera. Like that's the biggest hack is just get a mic, pretend like you're on, or something, you don't even need a mic. Just pretend like you're on a podcast and then just never cut to another person.
Do you watch over all of your content? I feel like I get squeamish watching my own stuff.
Yes, I do. I do. You know the best part, and Descript does this, is that it'll highlight the filler words, the uhs, the ums, all the things that make you look, oh, and you'll get better. And if you use Loom, Loom will also tell you how much filler words you're using, and you can see that percentage go down. And so I found that by now 3 years in, hopefully in this presentation, I'll have a lot less uhs and ums. Andy asked, do I coach? I don't coach, but I have a don't hire me page. How about that? The anti-coaching. This is another version of what I just said and some links to my favorite tools. At the very bottom, there is obviously a play of, hey, do you need some marketing help? Then hire my team. But there's also the, I don't want to hire you. But how do you do it all? Basically, the version of just this presentation today. But I also think everyone should have a don't hire me page. Like, that has been the best game changer for me. If you're trying to sell but not sell, and if you're qualifying someone, if you're like, I don't know, right? Or it's just feeling weird, drop in a don't hire me page, man, breaks attention so fast. And also make the URL / don't hire me. Way better. I got time for one more question, guys.
Any recommendations for people who want to hire or work with VAs to start this?
Yeah. The easiest way to start with VAs is to hire 5 and trial out. Film a raw video, whether it be a 1-minute clip, a 5-minute clip, something, and actually pay them to say, hey, make me 1 to 3 clips from this video. And some of them will offer to do it for free as a child project, but you should also be willing to pay for it as well. And then just, I want this style of clip. I like these people. These are, the styles I want to emulate. Can you edit like this? And just give it to 5 people.
And then do you usually would hire them as like a project based or like a salaried, a full-timer, part-time? How do you determine those?
Yeah, mine is always, I have one right now that's on a full-time salary, and then I have the rest all on a project base. The hard part about video editing is that I pay them hourly, and it's not like a, hey, you're gonna edit this many, but they do give me their timesheets. Does it actually take them that long? I'm not sure. But so far, I've been lucky enough to where the jobs have never exceeded what I think the margin should be for labor. And if there is, then I start to question, be like, hey, are you doing this right, or et cetera.
Right. I think sometimes when we give out the video work, they'll ask us like how long, how many minutes is the reels or the seconds, and then they either might charge us by like, hey, it costs $50 for a 30-second reel or whatever. Like they just might quote us a price on that. So do you usually work it like you don't like it that way, or you rather do like the hourly?
I normally do hourly just because I say, ultimately, I'm going to give you a lot of work, and it's going to be at least 20 hours of work a week.
And then of those VAs, would you say that you only have them do graphic? You're not gonna find a VA who kind of knows a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then give them yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm always asking, like, even if, like, can you dedicate 10 to 15 hours? If you can, cool, you're in. And you may not be, like, you may not start there, but like, if you find someone the 10 hours, especially if you have a podcast, you'll get 10 hours fast. If you don't have a podcast, yeah, you might be better off just dropping a fiver. I mean, that's also the hard part, is that you have to give them consistency. And if you're only going to post twice a week, then you're probably not going to be able to bring someone on internally.
And then when you were getting them on, did it give you like some kind of portfolio of the past work, or do you go like, hey, I want a video kind of like this. Here's a sample, and here's a bunch of raw materials. Can you create that for me?
I
Which,
always ask for a portfolio, and then I always then will give them samples of, here's either my past edits or edits that I'd like to emulate, and then here's the raws.
and then Andy asks, where do you hire your VAs?
Onlinejobs.ph.
Yep, that's what we do too.
But
Really
then, yes, either me or I do have a local, one of my best friends acts as my local project manager. So on the client side, we always actually have someone US based who is reviewing all of that.
Yes, and Andy, if you do want to learn more about how to hire a VA, we did if you go on the SEER YouTube channel, we did an event before, like I call it the Mahjong tables, but we did one there that you can watch. And then also, if you're gonna be in SoCal, we're gonna talk about that at SEERCon. So hey, come on up.
Sweet.
Cool.
Well, I did leave a couple links in the
So-
chat if you guys want to follow along. Or Ian, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, so I can talk as somebody who has a VA doing a ton of social media stuff, and I can also talk as somebody who hired Joshua. Joshua's stuff is incredible. I needed to hire Joshua for the most recent stuff. I don't think I might have posted one video, but I actually haven't posted any of your stuff yet. It's been Steven who's been posting it. But all of your stuff is incredible. My VA, I guess my problem is that I have my VA, her focus is mainly social media. I tried to get her to do too much. That's her bread and butter. I have a ton of content, ton of underwriting stuff, podcasts and all that. And I just don't want to post too much because I literally have probably a year's worth of stuff. If I look at all the videos, like basically we've tried to give her other stuff, but we're too busy to give her more work. So she just goes ham on social media, and I wake up the next day and she has like 30 new videos for me. And I think you see the quality of our videos. They're not, I mean, maybe Anita goes through the same thing, but they're definitely not your quality. They're not like yours. So the average like engagement time is not long. The performance isn't too great, but it's just like, I guess I've been just trying to pump out content, like at least a post a day. Do you have any suggestion? Should I be focusing more on quality over quantity? Because I'm just pumping out stuff, right? And like you said, sometimes you're like, the quality doesn't really matter. Like if you just use your own phone and do a selfie, but I have like too much stuff, I feel like, and it's not getting as many views or eyeballs as it probably should or could be.
For you, Ian, I would have you post less. And after you do your deal analysis in these webinars, just take whatever you think was like the highlight of it and make it raw, and do that, literally record your computer screen kind of thing. Because especially for you, when your superpower is finances, if you can't see the spreadsheet and you can't see the numbers, you can't see how it changes on the spreadsheet, you lose people. And so just speaking
Yeah.
about it, it's gone. Like you have to show people it, otherwise you lose it. So my challenge would be, instead of posting daily, like reel it way back and then just say, hey, this deal will make $2 million in 5 years because that, and then just point at the spreadsheet.
Well, and also, Ian,
Yeah.
I follow your channels too, and I have to say that the ones that attracted me the most were the ones that were the one that felt like it's least effort. Some of the
Hold on.
people or something, but the less fancy it is, the less wordy it is, I actually would stop and pay attention and look at it.
The less fancy. Sorry, you were breaking up because I'm in my car. The ones basically with the least edits. Is that what you're saying?
The least edits, and the less, I want to say least curated. Like the stuff that, if it has logos or something, or like it's all in that same color scheme, I might not actually look at it. But when I was able to see something different, especially like the one that you have for Josh, like, oh my God, I watched the whole thing and I'm like, I would rewatch it too. So
Yeah.
if you go straight to the point without all the logos and all the colors, I actually would watch it over and over again.
Okay. Good to know.
And the last
Thank you.
editing trick I'll drop too is whatever that like that hook that what do you think is like the peak of the clip? Like, oh, I want this. Like this is like the punchline. Put that punchline first. So if you're like, here, we're gonna talk about this deal on this multifamily, da 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 da, and then like, and then once we exit, even thinking about this cap rate, we're gonna make $2 million. Just cut that portion, make it first. Because then you get someone who's intrigued of like, well, why is it gonna make $2 million? And then they end up watching why. But if you start off slow, like, hey, so check out my spreadsheet today. And when I'm looking at rents, I'm looking at this, like they don't care enough yet to then watch the rest of the clip. On social, especially on Instagram and Facebook, like you have to be like, whoa, here's how we're able to go ahead and bump the rents this much or whatever it is. And like you have that result first.
Yeah. I noticed that on your videos with like the header and the cat, something that grabs you immediately. Cause I think I saw like the average watch time on mine are like 6 seconds. I don't know how long your your things are, but it's just like super quick and people just scroll, right?
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I dropped my socials in there. If you have any questions, I'm happy to follow up. But Annie and Nina, I appreciate you guys having me on.
We love it. And if you guys like it, go bug Josh and see if he wants to do this again in the future. All right. Thanks everyone for stopping by. If you guys are in the East Bay, there is a meetup tomorrow night on Friday at 6 o'clock in Berkeley. And then also this weekend, we have an event in Millbrae for the tax workshop. So hopefully I'll get to see you guys around soon. Take care. Night, night, folks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.